From AutoZone.com, Brake Pads versus Rotors. Article Summary. This article breaks down what each brake pads and rotors do, how they differ, and what signs of wear to watch out for. You will also learn when replacement is needed, how to choose the right parts, and where to find quality replacements at AutoZone. In this article, suggested AutoZone products, understanding brake pads and rotors, brake pads versus rotors, key differences, signs you need new brake pads or rotors, when to replace brake pads versus rotors, choosing the right parts for your vehicle, FAQ/people also ask, suggested AutoZone products, brake pads, brake rotor, understanding brake pads and rotors. Just to pause and say quickly, this is not sponsored by AutoZone. I'm just reading this for information, education purposes. Brake pads are the friction material that clamp down against the rotors when you press the brake pedal. Pads are mounted inside the brake caliper and create the stopping force by converting the energy of a moving car into heat. They're designed to wear out over time because friction naturally breaks them down, and the material they're made of is soft compared to the rotor. Pads come in different materials like organic, ceramic, and semi-metallic. Each type balances stopping power, noise levels, and dust production differently. For example, ceramic pads are quiet and long-lasting, while semi-metallic pads can offer more aggressive braking performance. What rotors do. Rotors, sometimes called brake discs, are the round, flat metal parts that the pads press against to slow the car. They're mounted directly against the wheel hub, spinning as your wheels turn. When the pads grip the rotors, friction is created, and the car slows down. If you've ever wondered what are rotors, think of them as the surface that takes the brunt of braking. Like pads, rotors wear down over time, especially when exposed to heat, stress, or rust. Brake pads versus rotors. Key differences. Pads are made of friction materials bonded to a metal backing plate, when rotors are solid or vented discs made from cast iron, steel, or composites. While rotors are solid or vented discs made from cast iron, steel, or composites. The brake disc versus rotor debate is just terminology, as both describe the same part. Brake pads are wearable parts meant to wear down more quickly, while brake rotors are designed to last longer but still eventually require replacement. Brake pads wear thinner as the friction surface gradually ground away during use. Once they reach the minimum thickness, they lose effectiveness and must be replaced. Some pads even include wear indicators that squeal loudly when it's time for a swap. Rotors, on the other hand, don't wear evenly. They may warp, develop grooves, or lose thickness. Excessive heat can also cause them to glaze or crack. Unlike pads, rotors can sometimes be resurfaced to extend their life, though this is less common today with thinner rotor designs. Signs you need new brake pads or rotors. All brake pads will need to be replaced eventually. Signs there do include squealing or screeching noises when braking, caused by wear indicators, grinding sounds when metal touches metal, brake pedal feels soft, it takes longer to stop the car, visible thinness of the pads when looking through the wheel spokes. Rotors will also give clues that it's time to replace them. Pulsation or vibration through the brake pedal while stopping, deep grooves or scoring on the rotor surface, blue or discolored spots from overheating, a grinding sound even after replacing pads. When to replace brake pads versus rotors. Most brake pads last between 30,000 and 70,000 miles, depending on driving style, material, and conditions. Rotors typically last longer, often 50,000 to 100,000 miles, but this can vary widely. Hard braking, towing, or city driving can shorten the lifespan of both. Brake pads should always be replaced once worn down to 3/30 of an inch, or less of material at the thinnest part of all pads on the axle, as driving with bad pads can damage the rotors. For rotors, you may have the option to resurface them if they aren't worn thinner than the discard level marked on the rotor, or if they aren't warped. However, because modern rotors are thinner, replacement is often the safer and more cost-effective choice. When deciding between brake pad versus rotor replacement, it's best to inspect both together. If pads are worn out, check the rotors at the same time. If rotors are warped or below the manufacturer's thickness specification, they need replacement too. Choosing the right parts for your vehicle. OEM parts are designed by your vehicle's manufacturer, while aftermarket options can offer variety in price and performance. Aftermarket rotors and pads, like ceramic or slotted designs, can often improve how well your brakes perform, reduce dust, or extend life. If you're a daily commuter, aftermarket replacements are a solid choice. If you tow, haul, or drive in mountainous areas, upgraded rotors and pads may be worth the investment. AutoZone carries a wide selection of brake pads and rotors for nearly every make and model. Whether you need ceramic pads for smooth and quiet operation or vented rotors for improved heat dissipation, AutoZone makes it easy to find the right fit. With free same-day pickup or delivery options, you can get back on the road quickly and safely. FAQ/people also ask, how do I know if I need new brake pads or rotors? Looking for squealing, grinding, or vibration, or decreased braking performance. A visual inspection of pad thickness or rotor condition can also confirm it's time for replacement. Can I replace brake pads without replacing rotors? Yes, if your rotors are still within thickness specifications and show no warping or heavy damage. However, many drivers replace both at the same time for balanced braking. What happens if I drive with bad rotors? Bad rotors can reduce stopping power, cause vibration, and damage new brake pads. In severe cases, they may compromise safety by increasing stopping distances. How long do brake pads and rotors usually last? Brake pads typically last 30,000 to 70,000 miles. Rotors can last 50,000 to 70,000 miles, but may need earlier replacement if they warp, crack, or wear unevenly. Are drilled or slotted rotors better than standard rotors? Drilled or slotted rotors improve heat dissipation and braking under heavy loads, but may wear faster. For everyday driving, standard rotors are often the most cost-effective choice.